Hello and welcome. So today, of course, I've got yet another fabulous free plugin for you. It's this one here. This is the Logic channel by Smack Labs. Let's first hear what it sounds like. When I first saw this plugin, it really reminded me of SSL's own native 5 channel strip, which of course was a plugin. So I thought to myself, a plugin emulating a plugin, that's a first. As it turns out, it is actually based on the SSL 9000 series mixing console, which is definitely hardware. Now personally, I've always really liked this idea of channel strip plugins. I guess I really like this thing of having pretty much all my processing present in just one single plugin. It's very convenient, isn't it? Okay, so what have we got on the plugin? Starting at the top left, we've got an input volume and an input meter. Very handy. On the right hand side, we've got an output volume and of course an output meter. The blue controls here are the compressor, and we have controls for ratio, release, threshold, and of course makeup gain. We also have 2 buttons. By default, the compressor acts as an RMS compressor, and we have a switch here to switch it to peak sensing. Now we don't have a variable attack on the compressor. However, if you want to speed up the attack, you've got a fast attack button here. Now your gain reduction meter is here in the middle. It's the right hand meter of these 2 meters. Over further to the right, we've got the green controls, which are our expander gate. We have controls here for range, release, and threshold. And we also have 2 buttons. The top button switches it to being a gate from being an expander. And yet again, no variable attack, but we do have the option of speeding up the attack with this button here. Bottom left, we've got the filter section with its own on-off button, and we've got both high pass and low pass filters. Finally, we've got a 4-band EQ. This again has its own on-off button. We have a low shelf and a high shelf, both of which have gain and frequency, but both of them quite handily can be switched to being a bell rather than a shelf. We then have our 2 mid-band EQs, which are parametric EQs, because they have gain, frequency, and Q. Now both of these mid-bands also have a button labelled E. This is where you can switch this to being an E-type EQ. Now quite a lot of the time, switching between the 2 EQ types, you're not really going to hear that much difference. However, where I think the E-type EQ really shines is when it's doing cuts, because basically it allows you to do much narrower bandwidth cuts. Let me show you what I mean by this. Here on the right, obviously, we've got the plugin. On the left, then we have a graph. Now my low mid band, I've set it to 200 Hz, and I've set it to its narrowest bandwidth. So now if I turn it down, you can see the shape or the curve and the bandwidth of that cut. If I now switch to the E-type EQ, as you can see, we get a much more narrow bandwidth cut. So it is much more suitable for cutting, of course. So that's our plugin. Let's give it a spin and see what it sounds like. I'm going to start by compressing the signal. Let's go for that. Okay, yeah, that sounds great. I'm only getting around 3 dB of gain reduction or thereabouts, and I'm catching those louder snare hits and leaving everything else alone, so really thickens up the sound. Let's go for some EQ. So I'm going to go to my high shelf. Let's just brighten this up a little bit. Let's go for that. Okay, really bringing out the detail of the hi-hat there. Let's go for a cut. So I'm going to go for a cut in the low mid band. I'm going to switch to the E-type EQ. As you've already seen, we get a much more narrow cut. And I'm going to go for the narrowest bandwidth. There we go. Let's have a go at that. Okay, that works particularly well. And finally, let's see if we can get a little bit more of the kick going in here. For this, I'm going to switch to bell instead of shelf. I'm going to start at its lowest, which is 30 Hertz. Let's have a go at that. So as you could see, I did turn down the output a little bit. It was just getting that little bit louder with that lower EQ boost. So what you got yourself here is a really nice channel strip plugin, and of course, it's free. I will, of course, as always, be leaving you a link in the description so you can download it and give it a spin for yourself. And of course, as always, I will also leave a link to the courses page on my website. Do remember, if you buy my courses through the links on my website, you will get up to 86% off the normal price. Really worth a look. And thank you again for tuning in. I really do appreciate you being here. And as always, I'll see you in the next video.